In the neon-soaked labyrinth of Tokyo, a city that breathes but never sleeps, a single man moves like a whisper in the wind. To the millions rushing past, he is just another face in the crowd. Kenji Sato, a systems engineer, quiet, polite, always smiling. He is the kind of man you'd sit next to on the train and never remember. But that's his design. Because Kenji Sato isn't just a systems engineer. He's a ghost. An operative for Division Black, a clandestine government agency so secret, even its own members barely know it exists. His world is one of shadows and whispers, of erasing names that were never meant to be spoken. To his colleagues, he's the guy who loves jazz and can tell you the best late-night ramen spots. But in the dead of night, he becomes the government's most lethal weapon, their silent eraser. His current mission is his most dangerous yet, to dismantle a sprawling cybercrime syndicate that has its tendrils wrapped around the world's most powerful governments. This mission has already taken its toll, chipping away at his peace, his freedom, and the very core of his humanity. He's a man living on borrowed time, running on fumes and the cold, hard steel of duty. Then, one day, the script of his life was rewritten by a chance encounter. Amidst the chaos of Shibuya Crossing, he met her, Eiko, a florist whose small shop was an oasis of color in a concrete jungle. She was everything he wasn't, a pure and filtered light in a city built on shadows. It started with a stray cat, a moment of shared amusement, and a teasing comment about his serious expression, and for the first time in what felt like a lifetime, Kenji genuinely smiled. He bought a flower, a bright splash of yellow. Without even knowing its name, that single flower was the beginning. One became two led to quiet conversations over tea, and soon Eiko became the anchor in his storm-tossed life. She was the only part of his existence that felt real. A sanctuary from the blood and lies. He found himself looking forward to the scent of her shop, the sound of her laugh, the way she could find beauty in the smallest things. He started to believe, just for a moment, that a man like him could have a life like this. But the night always follows the day. After every mission, he would return to his sterile apartment, the metallic scent of his work clinging to him. He'd stand under the shower, washing away the evidence of his other life, and then stare at a picture of Eiko he kept hidden in a drawer. The guilt was a physical weight. If you ever knew who I really was, he'd whisper to the photograph, you'd run. You'd have to. He lived a double life, torn between the man he was with her and the monster he had to be for his country. Eiko, for all her brightness, was not blind. She saw the shadows that clung to him. The late nights he couldn't explain, chalked up to server emergencies. The sudden, week-long business trips where he'd return with new scars he'd try to hide and a deeper exhaustion in his eyes. She noticed the way he always sat with his back to the wall. How his gaze constantly scanned the room. How he'd flinch at sudden loud noises. The pieces didn't fit the image of a simple systems engineer. One evening, as they sat in the quiet of her apartment, surrounded by the gentle fragrance of flowers, she finally voiced her concern. Her touch was soft on his arm. "Kenji," she began, her voice barely a whisper, "are you hiding something from me? Is everything okay?" He felt his heart seize. This was the moment he had dreaded. He summoned the mask he had worn for years, the calm and gentle smile perfected through 1,000 lies. "Nothing for you to worry about." But as he spoke the words, he felt the walls of his carefully constructed world begin to crumble. The lie felt like acid in his throat. The final blow came without warning. A Priority 1 dispatch from Division Black. It was an internal security crisis, the worst possible scenario, a mole. Someone inside the agency was leaking highly classified data, compromising active operations and endangering agents across the globe. The counterintelligence team had been working around the clock to trace the source of the leak, and they had found it. Kenji's hands trembled as he opened the encrypted file. He read the report once, then twice, his blood running cold. His world, which had been fracturing, now shattered into a million pieces. The signal, the source of the leak that threatened to bring down the entire agency. It had been traced to a small, unassuming server, a server transmitting from a florist's shop in Shibuya. Eiko's shop, He stared at the screen, the words blurring through a haze of disbelief and horror. Eiko, the woman who laughed with her whole heart, the woman who represented everything pure and good in his life. It couldn't be her. It was impossible. A setup, a mistake. But the data was clean. Triple verified. The evidence was irrefutable. Was her light just another shadow? Was their entire relationship a lie? A masterfully executed honey trap? The man who had learned to become invisible suddenly felt completely exposed, caught in a trap he never saw coming. The woman he loved was either his greatest enemy or an innocent pawn in a game that was about to get them both killed. And he had no idea which was worse. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey into the shadows of Tokyo. If you were hooked by Kenji's story, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what happens next. Ring that notification bell. And I'll see you in the next video.